So where has this series been for a while? Well, I don't want to sound like every other YouTuber who's basically a young teenager or whatever, becoming a young adult, but college has been taking up a lot of my time and energy. It has literally been sucking it out of my arse. I will explain why. It's because my lessons, I have to get up to get the bus at 7:05. So I've got to wake up at 5 so I can actually properly wake up and then get ready for the day. Well, I've got to get out of town into the other town to go to college, and I don't come home until 7:30 or something because my lessons run over the usual school leaving time, which is 3:15, and it's actually it's 4:15 for me, and my bus leaves about 10 minutes after, no, before even. So I've got to wait for an hour and something until the 45 past at 5. And then I don't get home until 7, and I'm too tired, and I've only got an hour to just do something, pack up for the next day, and then just jog on. I only get 2 days off in the weekdays, but whatever. My channel's been dying, so I don't think it really matters that much. But I thought, instead of doing the 00 customs, because I don't think anyone really cares that much, we'll go back to the Tomy things, because I think some of these models here that I do want to talk about, they could improve a lot of Tomy customs. They don't just benefit me, but I think they'd benefit the whole fandom. The whole Thomas fandom, even. Because about Scallop, I'm sure there's plenty of people making the D199s better like this, rather than just a Diesel 10 in blue. Because my plan is, I want everyone to just put some more effort, basically, into the customs. Make them look completely different than from just a Diesel 10 in a different colour. So, I thought I'd talk about Whistler, because everyone wants to make a D261 custom, and Whistler is a Class 40. So is D261. So I guess it works. What could I start with? Well, let's start off with the nose ends. Now, ideally for me, I'd rather use the originals off a Diesel 10. Personally, I'd use a CGI one, because that's got more face fat, basically. And when you sand it down, you've got a nice, smooth, round nose end, which you could fill in, add the face, and all those other details, and it would look more accurate than just a flat piece of card. Now, I know I'm being hypocritical with Whistler here, because he looks just like that, but, not really. As you can see, his nose end's actually being extended quite a bit from the original. There's Diesel 10s, it's let me get Diesel 10 instead of trying to use my fat fingers. Grab him out of my dusty old box of Tomy trains that I've got too many of. I don't know how I got this many Tomy engines over the course of a year and something. I really need to sell off some of my collection. Jesus, hell, I hardly use half this stuff. I don't even know why I bought all this. They're just gaining dust underneath my crooked old bed. Oh, my God. Oh, come on. Get under there. Oh, fine, I don't want to go. Come on, Diesel 10. So you can see here, the front end has been extended by quite a lot. As if I turn Whistler upside down, you can see there's been a lot of extensions underneath here, especially at the rear. This is just so I get that proper Class 40 long nose end looking look, basically. I will say one thing actually, with all these models. Let me move the shed out of the way. I try to make them all the same almost shape, but accurate lengths in a way. Because Rosa is a 37, so that's close enough to a 40, but with less wheels and more shorter. So Rosa, out of all of them, is kind of the shortest. But he and Whistler both have long nose ends. Of course, you can see with Rosa, he's actually got the rounded off ends that I was talking about. But you can see this nose end's very sloped, because on Diesel 10, if you cut off the face and put the nose, make your own nose end for it, it's very sloped, so it goes downwards. I learned that the hard way with Scallop. I mean, look at that, it's ugly. I think at some point, maybe on his birthday, which is the 16th, and I've got a special video for that, another special Pootis Customs. I'm not going to be giving too many hints, but I think we might know what it is. I might actually give him a rebuild at some point, because this is a very lumpy, bumpy looking Scallop model, even though he is the first Scallop. So with Whistler, you could see I accidentally cut some of the cab because I thought I needed to make the nose end more longer to here, but if I did that, then he just looked like he had a really short body and the nose ends would just overpower the whole proportions. So I've had to I had to put the cab ends back on. You can see his rear window has now become his cab door, which I think really works well, and I think people should do that other than just putting the door here, which doesn't make any much sense. The air intake, I think that's what it's called, is made out of paper, because that's the thinnest bit you could get for these models that look good. That's the same thing I do for, we'll use Scallop again for example, for these middle support struts on the cab. Because they're the same dimensions, well, same like thickness as the originals on Diesel 10. So I think that would work well. Some of the old Diesel 10 vents had to be filled in because, well, I didn't really need them. So I could put in the cab, well, the engine side windows, I'm going to call them. This old door I never really marked out, but I think this is a door to the engine. There's going to be more roof vent, well, there's going to be more vents, or engine vents for along the side of the roof. But I thought I'd just use the ones from Diesel 10 rather than trying to bodge some together, because then it would just look like a bit of a mix match. The rear, there's more details like the fan here, I don't know, another vent thing here. The domino head code, I don't know what, I forgot what it's called now, but that's also paper. These engine horns, what am I saying? These horn ports, I actually found out these were for horns here, they're not the eyes, because I'll throw up a picture somewhere, but the original whistle I didn't do these little struts on the holes, so they look like eyes to people, so people confuse them as the eyes. I mean, I've seen a few people confuse Roz's horns as eyes, so that's why I've had to cross them off, because these big old head code boxes, he looks like he's got glasses, so these are his eyes. I don't know how nobody sees that, but you know, I mean, it's just right there. And it's funny how I've only found out these are the horn ports when he's already got two pairs of horns, well, a pair of horns on his roof. I don't know, these are his siren horns, something like that. Now, this doesn't really involve many people who are going to be modelling in the play rail style, but with my models, I like to make them more realistic in a way. So I covered up the wheels with the side bogie details and the fuel tank. Because this was the knockoff Trackmaster Diesel 10 that was sold on eBay, that I did a video on a few months ago, this was just a screw. They just screwed it in, it had a flat type drive unit, so it's very noisy. But honestly, he's actually quite quick for what he is. I did actually have to swap the wheels out for like normal disc wheels for diesels, because they came with the spoked wheels with the hole for the coupling rod. So I thought I'd swap them out just so it doesn't look so flimsy. The original axle, actually, it was a split axle, so there was no like metal going through here, but I got a proper axle to go through here, and now the wheels are much more smoother rather than the split axle, because one wheel would not turn and the other would just be like wobbling on itself on one side. So now Whistler actually runs really smoothly. What else? Ah, the roof. I cut off the pinchy arm, and I actually left most of the roof detail because it might be inaccurate, because this is just the rear of a warship thing, but it's roof detail. No one's really gonna see it much. I try to find some proper pictures, but I couldn't find anything for roof details with most of these diesels, so I've just had to copy off of what I've slightly seen. So yeah, you can see my bad body job panelling here. There's a big dent here from when I cut Pinchy off, and there was like a big gash. So I had to panel it up with all these bits of paper. The engine fan up here, that's paper as well, so it's nice. So it's not so thick that it looks like it's towering over itself, but rather it blends in well, but it still could be seen. Buffers, I actually very neatly cut them out of some card. Can't believe I got the shape properly. The buffer beam, that's also card, coupling, and the brake pipes. The little ballast weights, they were half of a lollipop stick, a little plastic like lollipop stick thing. That was the right size, because it was one of those big ones. I think you might know what I'm talking about, but you get the idea. They were plastic ones rather than paper. This coupling here, that's from actually this lad over here, the D261, because when Tomy made these, they didn't have a tender mostly, so for some reason the coupling was very long. But I thought I'd use this coupling rather than a normal standard Tomy coupling, because, well, you could see the screw would be here for the coupling, and if I didn't use a normal coupling, then I'd get a lot of buffer lock, and I don't think Whistler could pull any coaches. But yeah, you can see it's very long, but that's really useful for what I have with Whistler. I don't think there's much else to say, and I've talked for like 12 minutes. We'll do some running clips. Can't have my fingernails, Gareth. I actually haven't seen Gareth in quite a while. I was very concerned for him. Hello. He looks very skinny. Oh, and he's gone again.